Hey there, folks. Sparrows here. Welcome to the second channel. I appreciate you guys coming here, and I really hope that you guys will subscribe and leave a like and watch this video a little bit so that we have good retention time on our first video on this channel. I will say, so the reason why we are making this transition real quick is the plan is to have two separate Sparrows channels. Pocket Sparrows, and then this Pocket Sparrows Roost. The Roost, this is where we're going to be putting up all our gameplay content, all this stuff that doesn't really matter how many views are on it. Stuff that can have meandering content that's sort of on the longer side of things that necessarily doesn't get really good retention time. And that way, the main channel I can focus on really cracking down on that retention time, making sure people watch our videos for as long as possible, because I do want to make that channel as successful as possible, and it's hard to do that when it's bouncing between more brain-centric content and then more competitive gameplay content. They're just two separate things when people are looking at YouTube channels. So I really wanted to split the difference, and we'll use them to interweave between each other, and that actually is stronger for if I can successfully do it with time management. It's better for both channels. So that said, we are in a draft league, and we are coming back with the draft league. I haven't played Pokemon competitively in a year and a half, and we're coming back in the Eon World Trophy. And this is week one, and we're up against the Copenhagen Sawsbucks, coached by Frosted. Link to her channel in the description below. Now, real quick, because I didn't do a draft recap video, this is the order that I drafted my Pokemon in. I knew that weather was going to be an important factor in Gen 8, or at least I've heard that weather is an important thing in Gen 8. Mostly, I'm sure it's mostly sun and rain, and I'm sure a huge portion of that is most likely due to G-Max moves or Dynamax moves or whatever the heck they're called. But I did know I wanted to come into this draft league with weather in mind, and I thought, hey, Excadrill is free. Excadrill is always amazing. It's one of the best mons in the game. Let's go Sand, which Sand is something that I don't actually know anything really about. I'm very uncomfortable with Sand. I don't usually run Sand mons or a Sand team. I've never really done that because you sort of you have a more so than fire or fire or rain or sun rather. Your weaknesses are a little bit more apparent in Sand. But I was like, let's do it. Why not? And then I really wanted to draft Corsola. I've heard a lot of great things about it. It looks cool. I love ghost types. So I drafted Corsola second, and I think it pairs well with Tyranitar and Excadrill. And then, the rest of the team is stuff. It's stuff that was available in the draft. I will say I do think Golisopod was a amazing pick for my last pick. It was super cheap, and this mon is very versatile in terms of or maybe not versatile is not the word. It's versatile in the items that it can use and the role it can play, and it's sort of underestimated too. And I really love Golisopod, and I'm just so happy it was so cheap. But you'll notice that the standard staples that you usually look for in a draft league, I'm missing. I really wanted a fast electric type, and it was oh, too late. I really wanted a fire grass water core. Nope, no fire types really available for me to choose from. And I also wanted a dragon fairy steel core, and the only fairy that I was really able to purchase was Mr. Mime, who I don't know how I feel about that. We already have a really great psychic type in Gothitelle. So, spoilers, week 2 we are trading our Mr. Mime for Manectric, because Manectric does give me a little bit more of that fast electric type, and then with Overheat or Flamethrower or Fire Blast, it is able to bring some fire type moves. So it's how we're gonna kind of try to fix this team a little bit. But the standard core of this team is actually really interesting. I don't think many people go for a dark psychic fighting core as their primary core, but that's what we're doing, and I'm really impressed with the core that we have on this team. So that said, what is our opponent's core? My opponent has, I think, my favorite team in the draft league. It looks like so much fun to play. Her first 3 picks are perfect. Oh, look at them. They look like so much fun. I am really jealous because I think she's going to have a lot of fun building with this team. And then she also has Girder, which I love Conkeldurr and draft format. So like Girder's kind of like a pseudo Conkeldurr. And then the Rotom Heat I actually wanted on my team, but I knew it was either I chose Noivern or Rotom Heat, and I chose Noivern because I wanted the little extra speed. But man, I could really use a Rotom Heat. Levitate, Fire, Electric. Oh, that's exactly what this team needs. We got a dragon. Oh, not a dragon, a ground issue. Anyways, before I ramble too much about like the drafting process, let's get back on course here and let's talk about what I think she's going to bring into this match, and then what the sets I'm going to bring into this match are going to be. So I knew going into this that she's going to bring her 3 main mons, right? Her first 3 picks, those are guaranteed in my eyes. I know we're gonna have some weather wars with Alolan Ninetales. It's gonna be hail versus sand, and if she gets up a Aurora Veil, we're gonna have an issue. So I did sort of keep that in mind when we were attacking. All right, how we build this team. Then, I mean, really, she could bring most of her team and it would do well against me, I think. I don't think she's going to bring the Clefairy, I don't think she's going to bring the Stunfisk, and that's about it for what she can't bring. I think I've tested teams against, I've like play tested, rather, oof. I'm talking so much that my mouth is getting dry. I did some mock battles with all the mons seen on screen, and they all can put in work. I think we might see the Girder because Girder, we have that Corsola, and Corsola does sort of force my opponent to bring more knockoff than they usually would, because it's just impossible to kill without knockoff. So we might see Girder. We might see Vileplume because my team is also very physically active, and Sap Sipper, Vileplume would be very helpful in that regard. And then, Vaporeon. Vaporeon can also be super bulky. Can Scald us, can Toxic us, can stall us out, Wish. And we might see Bronzong. So, any of those last 4 or 5 mons she can bring. I have a feeling her team is going to look something like this, though, and I think we're going to see a Scarf, Rotom Heat, to sort of try to beat our speed tiers with the mons that I end up bringing. So let's transition over here to Showdown real quick and take a look at what I am bringing. So the first thing was kind of no-brainer to me was to bring Beifong, the Excadrill, Choice Scarf. Usually, I want to run Sand Rush on Excadrill, but because she's got 2 levitating mons, I can't pass up going Mold Breaker, and that sort of forces me to go into Choice Scarf if I want to outspeed that Dragapult, if that Dragapult is not scarfed itself. So we're going Jolly, Mold Breaker with Earthquake, Iron Head, Brick Break for the Obstagoon, and Aerial Ace for the Vileplume. The Brick Break's also really great in case Veil gets placed up, and we have an option for taking out that Veil. I believe we are speed creeping the Rotom Heat. I'm not necessarily sure if it's specifically a modest Scarfed Rotom that we're trying to speed creep, or I think we're faster, right? Are we naturally faster? No, I don't think we are. So we're trying to speed creep a modest Rotom Heat, or maybe it also a timid Rotom Heat, but it's definitely some sort of Scarf Rotom Heat. And then the rest of our spread goes into hit points and defense. Next up, we are bringing a Technician Hitmontop, and I think Turvey here is going to be putting in a huge amount of work against this team. Hitmontop, usually you'll see it with Intimidate, but I do know that Obstagoon has Defiant, and I really don't want to deal with a Defiant Obstagoon. So we're going to go Technician, and Technician also paired with Bullet Punch, Shamanic Punch, and Brutal Swing kind of takes... And also Aerial Ace, too. This mon can take out her whole team if we have the opportunity to do. We're a little slow, but we have the coverage to blaze through her team. We are carrying the Lumberry in case Dragapult wants to Will-O-Wisp us, and if they Will-O-Wisp us, and then when we go for Brutal Swing, that will be a one-hit KO, I believe, depending on their investment. So that's really great. All of these moves, I believe, all of these moves get boosted by Technician. So Hitmontop's crazy. It was a great pick. I'm really excited about this one. And then so it's just pure attack investment and then some hit point investment. Next up, we are bringing Clover. Clover, I don't know why these Pokemon are in this order. I decided to go with Clover because, I knew that we needed something to eat a knockoff from Obstagoon, but also I needed something that could pop us into Gothitelle, who really should be in front of Clover here, but whatever. So we're running a red card emergency exit, Golisopod, and the idea is red card doesn't matter too much, but if we get both red carded and emergency ejected at the same time, hopefully there's a chance that she'll end up like half her team is weak to what I end up bringing on my Gothitelle. So hopefully she ends up on something that I can take advantage of with Gothitelle. And if not, I get a priority switch anyways because the red card activates first and then emergency activates. So I really get to choose my matchups against her with Golisopod, which is really great. We're running a Spadef Golisopod. Trying to remember why I did that. I know that's what I brought to the match. It's probably for... I think it's for Ninetales. I'm not entirely sure why. There was a reason. I built this team like 2 weeks ago, so I forget the reason for my stat spreads, but this is what it is. The attack is max because we are running mostly priority anyways. Aquajet takes care of her... What is the thing that she has called? Rotom. Yeah. Aquajet is for Rotom, and Sucker Punch is for Dragapult. Knockoff is for anything that wants to swap, and First Impression is for the big bad Obstagoon in case if it doesn't go for Obstruct, all the better for us. And then of course we are going to bring our Tyranitar for Sand, just to disrupt her hail. Mostly, and also to give it a nice little boost in special defense because we get extra special defense in Sand, which is great. So we are running a specially defensive Tyranitar. The speed is creeping her... I believe it's her Girder. It might also be her Bronzong. And then she's got enough, this Tyranitar rather, has enough attack to take out both Ninetales with Iron Head, and then Dragapult with Crunch. And then the rest is thrown into hit points. We're bringing Stealth Rocks on this Tyranitar, so this Tyranitar is mostly going to be kind of a pivot for us, and it's going to set up our rocks. Next, this is the kit and caboodle of this team. We are bringing a physical Noivern. This is going to be my dedicated lead against her. We get U-turn, so if it's something that I don't really want to deal with, I can just U-turn out. But chances are she's going to want to lead Ninetales and get an early Veil up, right? So I'm going for Iron Tail on Ninetales. And the reason we are going physical is for that matchup against her, because Iron Tail is powerful, base 100, and I think the closest thing that we have to taking out a Ninetales is Heat Wave on the physical spectrum, or on the special spectrum, and that just isn't enough to OHKO Ninetales. And I really don't want that Veil up. I just don't want that Veil up. So the best way to take out a Ninetales with Noivern's Arsenal is to actually go physical and go Iron Tail. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run a Scarfed Noivern, and surprisingly, Scarfed Noivern isn't the worst thing against her, because we have Brick Break. Scarfed Brick Break does take out the Obstacle Gun, I'm pretty sure. Brick Break also, once again, is great for taking out her screens. And then Scarfed Outrage is a one-hit KO on the Dragapult, rather. So that gets taken down too. We are faster than we sped crept a Scarfed Ninetales, I believe. And then the rest went into hit points and attack. And we are gonna, take out some Ninetales. Hopefully, this is probably the set that's the riskiest for me. But I also just really want to do something crazy, because it's my favorite thing about draft leagues is you can bring non-standard stuff, and this is definitely non-standard. So we're running dual Scarfers, mostly because I want to guarantee that we can take care of that Dragapult, because that thing is deadly. It's a kill leader for a reason. The last thing on our team is Mucilage, our Gothitelle, with leftovers to keep us alive for a little bit. We are running Heal Bell in case there's a bunch of Will-O-Wisp shenanigans going on, so we can just heal that off. And then we have Psychic, which is an OHKO on her Girder and an OHKO on her Vileplume, I think, or maybe it's a 2-hit KO on her Vileplume, but it's enough to trap Vileplume and put it out of its misery. And then we have Energy Ball, which will take care of Vaporeon, and then Calm Mind is useful to boost up a little bit extra to take care of Vaporeon. I believe you get better mileage out of 2 Calm Minds and 2 Energy Balls than 4 Energy Balls, but I'm not entirely sure. I think there's a reason why I put Calm Mind in instead of another stat, and that's another attack, rather, coverage attack, and that's mostly just because I needed a little bit of an extra boost to take care of Vaporeon with her. But yeah, the plan is to trap a member of her team and then use Mucilage to put a hole in there, and then we'll take advantage of that hole. Okay, yeah, so that's the team. That's the general team week 1. I hope you guys enjoy the battle. The battle is also up. I will link to it right now. Once again, thank you guys for checking out this channel. Please subscribe. This is going to be the future, and I want to build it up right. And right now it's going to be a little weird and a little slow, but we're gonna get where we need to be. So thank you guys so much. My name is Sparrows. Take care.